guys, it's Kanan.
It's Jessie.
And we are the Geeky Saying Couple, and boy, has it been forever since we have done a Ruby video. So of course, like, if you remember, if you watched our, I think it was the, someone's calling me. If you watch, I believe it was our, analysis of the finale, where we said after the finale we were going to kind of take a back seat to Ruby a little bit, just to let some time go, do some other projects, and this is our 100th video, so we decided to do something special. Now, when we started the channel, we said that we had 2 major Bumbleby videos planned. We were going to do kind of a full analysis of the ship, like covering the show, Chibi, the soundtrack, the comics, the books, all that. Well, we've been kind of lazy in getting the stuff ready for that. That video is going to take a while. And we also had a more personal Bumbleby video planned. And we wanted to do a Bumbleby video for the 100th video. So we decided, let's do the personal one. Now, the reason why it's taken us so long to do this is because she's had to mentally prepare, because this is mostly her story in a way, but I was there during it all. It's pretty much why Bumbleby means so much to us. Now, sadly, there has been some
Recent events.
Yeah, that is kind of going to taint this video a little bit, because like I said, we had always planned for the 100th episode to be one of the Bumblebee videos. One of them is going to take way too long to get ready to and just, you know, we didn't want to just not put up anything and save it for that 100th video. So we're like, let's do the personal one. This one we can just sit down and talk. Then we wake up and there's a whole shitstorm going on. So I'm going to keep my mouth shut, let her deal with it, because she's a little bit more level-headed than I am. Though I will have some comments after she's done, but let's try not to stay on this too long, because this video is going to be long anyway, and so we can get to the actual reason behind the video. So the floor is yours, hon.
This ship is not just a ship to us, especially to me. It means a lot more than just, oh, it's 2 characters that I really like shipping.
And it even means more than it just being an LGBT pairing.
Yes. This actually goes into the characters' personalities and where the connections for me and Blake and Yang both started. This, as I was saying, this ship means a lot more. It goes a lot deeper. A lot of people, and I know we've made a Twitter post about this before, but I wanted to go a little more in depth into this. A lot of people don't know that several years ago, for me, I was in a very, very abusive relationship. Like, any type of abuse you could think of, I've suffered it. And I really mean that. Every type of abuse you could think of by one person. And, which I wish that I would have got, you know, I mean, I've been there since the beginning, but I wish I would have gotten into Ruby a little bit more in depth first, like, when this started happening. But I connect with Blake very, very much so on the fact that, you know, what she dealt with Adam, you know, running away from things, hurting. It was a character that I could look into, like, I'm trying to think how to word that, like, a character that I could relate to, that I could really look into, and then seeing her journey through Ruby now, like, coming up from that, it means so much. And then, you know, with the half of Yang, like, when she was hurting, when she was all mad because Blake left, I mean, that kind of fits on his side a bit. And but the thing is, you know, Yang's, regardless of how angry she got, Yang has still always been there for Blake, and, you know, they continue to grow, and that's something that we have. You know, she was always there regardless, no matter how much, when they first met, no matter what she went through, Yang didn't care. Like, she didn't judge her on it. She just wanted to get to know her anyways. Like, it didn't matter to her, but she wanted to help build her up, not focus on with those things. Whereas other relationships I've had, they've pointed out those flaws and they've held it against me. And it's like, that's when you start seeing, okay, well, this wasn't worth it. He's never done that. But between just how strong of the character Blake is, it means a lot.
Like, it was to the point when we first started watching Ruby together, because she got into it a little bit before I did. When they really started going with the whole Blake, Yang, and Adam story, I would look at her and be like, are you okay? Like, because this is pretty triggering stuff for someone that, because it almost scared me in a way how similar it was. And, you know, it's like, during Volume 6, during the whole fight, like, you know, I was kind of worried about her, but, I don't know. That's really all I have to say, is that it was scary, in a way.
Yeah, and that's why also, you know, the whole Beauty and the Beast parallel does mean a lot. That's a favorite, you know, fairy tale, Disney movie, everything to me. I mean, the meaning behind it, I mean, there's so much there. And the connection between them, I mean, it's pretty much my ex was Adam, Gaston, Curse. I mean, I was to the point where I felt like I couldn't leave, and when I finally did, I had that moment like Blake, you know, you ran, you finally got away from it. Though for a while, it actually still ended up, like, he followed me. He'd show up. He actually kept my first dog, and whenever he'd show up in an area that I was, he'd have her, kind of like taunting me, stalking me. Sound familiar?
And there's a picture of that.
Yes, and though I looked past that because I was overjoyed to see Kyrie, that was her name. And, you know, relating that to some things that Blake, you know, felt and saw, I mean, it's scarily similar in a lot of ways. I'm sure I'm missing points that people are like, well, how do you make that connection? No, there's a lot there. It's really hard to put this into words. That's why whenever I see someone post something about abuse or post something, oh, you just like that ship, it's just a ship and you're going too far into that, you know, that's getting creepy. No. We're passionate about this ship because of further reasons that it's not just a ship. No, we're not living this everyday life either. No, that's not it either. It just means a lot to us. It's something that we could focus on. Like, some people don't understand, you know, yes, it's been years. It has been years since that stuff happened to me. It doesn't go away.
And it's kind of like, you know, someone will throw out, well, they're just fictional characters. How many people's heroes were fictional characters? How many people say, you know, their hero growing up was Superman?
Sailor Moon is my childhood hero, and she will always remain that.
Yeah, my childhood hero was Goku. So, I mean, it's like...
It's somebody to look up to, fictional or not.
Yeah, for sure.
And, like, growing up
and there's
in life,
real people I look up to.
Which is another reason, like, also, why Lightning means so much to me. That's a whole nother video, but... later in life, I stumbled across Lightning because of him, and it's something that grew into my life and has meant so much to me. But, you know, on the level, back to the subject of, you know, Blake and all that, it's taken me years, and the thing is everyone's like, well, you know, shouldn't she have come out of it, or shouldn't she, you know, not worry about it? No, there's still going to be things there for a very long time, if not forever, at least, but you learn how to adapt and move on from it, make things better from it. I mean,
because I think also to help better understand that is, at that time, guys, you need to understand what her situation at the time was. Jess is originally from Ohio. This guy had brainwashed her enough to convince her to move to West Virginia with him. So by the time she realized what he was really like, it was too late. She was trapped. She didn't have no money, had nowhere to go. She was how many states away? Like, I think it's like, what, one state?
It's a state away. But the thing is it's so far. I was like, he would take everything that I had, he'd put in his name so he could keep it, so he could take it. I mean, I was to the point in the end, he had my car.
I had to buy you a phone.
Yeah, my laptop, everything. And at the end, I was like, you know what, keep it. I just went out. I wanted the dog, but I couldn't do anything. He took everything from me. And then continued to stalk me, continued to follow, continued everything. And it was to the point, you know, that's very similar to Adam. Adam stalked her across Anima. He kept stalking her, kept following her. Pretty much wherever she ran, he tried to follow. He tried to still initiate that fear and abuse, which for a while he kept doing. I was afraid I was going to walk outside, and there he was. I'd go to Walmart to get something, and all of a sudden, this black and white husky runs up to me, and it's my dog. He was there. He was following me, and it's... Now I can, like, the only thing that now is, yeah, Blake and Yang did what they had to. I gave warnings too, though somehow, I don't know how, for me, backed off, but, I mean, Blake and Yang gave Adam an opportunity to walk away several times. They did what they had to protect themselves. And now, you know, I will say years later, there was times where, at random, I would get a contact from him. There was a time where he video called me, but with his new girlfriend or whatever. And when he had to leave for some reason, I saw my moment, and the girl said, "Does he hide your hair ties and hide your straightener and things like that?" I said, "Yes." I said, you need to run." And she looked at me, and I said, "I'm serious." I said, "You may not believe me just because I'm an ex, but you need to be careful and you need to run." Well, she took that quite seriously, because a week later she did leave. She got away, though there's several others that did not. And I had someone who... This even shows that I had somebody that I went to school with for a while when I was down there, that they messaged me. They didn't like me, but they messaged me, and they're like, "I just thought you should know." Well, a big turning point for me, like when Adam was gone, was seeing a news post that my ex was arrested with several charges. Somebody finally spoke up, and I was so happy to hear that. I wish I would have spoke up, but I couldn't.
In a way, it was like cleansing, in a way, to see that.
And it was a rehearsal day when we were setting up for his nephew's wedding, actually. We were getting ready to finish up, and then I saw my phone, and that just popped up, and I actually had to take a step back for a moment, because...
Okay.
Seeing something like that was that moment that Blake broke down and cried too. It was over. It was done.
Want me to tell my side? Give you time to...
But that's part of the reason why that shit just means so much, just because I can relate so much to her.
Want me going? Okay. So where was I during this whole situation? Well, me and Jess met online. I lived here in Tennessee. She lived in Ohio. So when we first met, she was with another guy. It was her high school sweetheart, pretty much. They broke up. And, I tried to avoid online relationships because you always hear nothing good comes of them, you know. It does more harm to you than good. Because, you know, there's always that sense of longing and wanting to see them and stuff like that. And then next thing you know, they could betray you in a moment's notice because you never know who you're really talking to on the internet. But I knew very well, quickly that I could trust Jess to at least be a friend, even though as the years went on, I did start to develop feelings for her, and turns out she was doing the same for me. Um, After her and her high school boyfriend broke up, she started dating this guy. Now, she met this guy through a friend. So where was I during this whole thing? I was pretty much, I mean, I couldn't be anything more else but a support system at that time, because I was a broke college student. I didn't have no money at the time. I couldn't just get in a car and drive off, you know. So there were several times where I would be so angry at just the world because I couldn't do anything. And, like, I lashed out at people. I even got to where I just put myself in my room and didn't leave because I didn't want to leave her alone. And I felt like all I could do was just keep on typing to her to stay strong. Things will get better. I think you probably remember some of that stuff word for word. That seems like that's all I was saying.
There was a point
around that time.
in time also that I actually had to write him letters under to get messages out. He didn't know for the longest time that I was actually being abused. I couldn't,
because she didn't tell me.
Well, to the point.
Well, it didn't take long for you to tell me.
No, but let's just say I was so locked down that any computer I used, I had to delete the history and then delete the deleted history, or I'd suffer backlash.
And he tried to make stuff up, like saying I had a police record and all that, which I have no such thing. I've never even had a speeding ticket.
Which, for somebody in a mental state where you're your lowest, where you are vulnerable, things like that, even though you know they're not true, will go into your mind. And for the longest time, in the back of my mind, his words would repeat themselves. And it got to the point where I was like, I just...
And didn't you say there was times you would just be laying there in bed and he would just be, like, telling you stuff constantly?
Yeah, and, like, I wasn't his, girlfriend. I was his property. Like, we'd go out in public, and he'd like, grab me. He'd grab my chest. He'd grab anything. And I'd pull away, and he'd just do it harder and say, no, this is mine. I can do this. You can't tell me no. The sad thing is I had opportunities to tell somebody. I couldn't. I
think for a long time I was the only one you told.
Yeah. Well, there was one person I trusted that was actually a state trooper. And I could never be alone with him for a few moments. I tried to get I think he started suspecting in the end, but I couldn't get the words to him because every time I'd go to somebody, he'd be right behind me. I couldn't say anything. And that's the same thing on the phone. My family or friends would call me, and he'd answer the phone, and he'd talk. To the point where my friends would turn around and say, I want to talk to her, not you. Well, that's kind of like... Also, thinking back to Blake and Yang, Adam would do things like that. Like, he'd decide for her, or do this for her, or say you're gonna do this. It all clicks back. It relates, and it's really scary how much it does.
I think the most panicked I ever got was there for a while. I lost contact with her. Like, she literally had to stop talking to me.
That's when I started trying to send letters.
Yeah, like, I think you, like, at that, and, this is at a time when MySpace was still a huge thing. I think you took me off your MySpace and everything because he made you do it.
Yeah. He sat there and watched me and made me do it.
Yeah, because...
And I made another account.
Because I think because like Adam, seeing Yang as a threat, he saw me as a threat.
Yeah.
Even though I wasn't physically there. Like, my presence was so strong with her that he just saw her just talking to someone online as a major threat. Then, she finally got back in touch with me because I was scared. I didn't know if she was hurt, worse, or what. Or maybe, and you always have those doubts in your minds because Yang had doubts about Blake. Was she just playing me, lied, and just, leave this guy in this state and run away. But that was, that's just the doubts that go through your mind when you're talking to someone strictly online. So I tried everything I could to comfort her in any way. Um,
There's still one regret I know you have. When
I have several.
Well, but one specifically, towards the end, I got to the point where, like, I had gone to this college. This was an outlet. I was towards the end. I had started this college, an equestrian college, actually. I had a horse that I was supposed to have, but unfortunately they kind of decided to take her back, which was actually better for her anyways. She actually got more love than I would have been able to keep. I wouldn't be able to keep her. But anyways, my outlet was this college, and this is where I met some of those, this actually the same person who didn't like me, because I turned them in for smoking weed in the dorms where they weren't supposed to. It was making me sick, and I just happened to mention, hey, if you're going to do that, don't. Well, someone else heard. Anyways, I did make a few friends that I kept, and one of them to this day I still talk to, and Allison, actually, there was a few times where she'd come and pick me up in her truck. She left the school the same time I did, because it was definitely not what we wanted. Nothing with Western riding that we wanted at all. But it was my outlet away from him. Well, I had a little cheap state cell phone. I couldn't find anything, and the one day I was by myself because he was actually, shockingly, working somewhere. I was home, alone, and this is when I also figured out how to delete everything that I would do on the computer. I found his number and I tried to call him. He didn't answer the phone.
I know it's God. And the only reason is because I even do this to this day. If I get a call from a number I don't know, I don't answer it because it's not.
Which I understood, but I know that's just one thing.
You should have left me a voicemail. I would have called you right back.
Well, I know, but at the time I just panicked, but in the end, I mean, he even just went as far as ending us, but leaving me there to be tortured still, and still abusing me. To the point I actually got really suicidal. If it was not for my dog, I probably would have done something. And it's really sad to say, and I'm sure also, you could see even through the show, through comics, everything, how desperate Blake felt when, and vulnerable she was.
They even touched upon that in the comics of Callie being scared that Blake was going to kill herself.
Yeah, and it's, again, really scary how similar things are, and it's just, but thanks to a friend and her mom, they sent me money, and the longest car ride of my life, he drove me back home. Yeah, I lost my dog, I lost everything, I lost most of my life, at least at that point, and that's when I started coming out of things. But finally, once I was also back home, we were able to start talking again. I know he was still worried that he couldn't do anything, and at that point, yeah, I ended up in another relationship, but the thing is I was pretty much grasping at anything to try to, help me at the time. When you're in that state, you don't make clear choices, but there is some good things that came out of my last relationship, like a great grandmother that I took care of. That was one positive thing in my life that I took from. But now here I am today. I never thought I'd be sitting here with him today, engaged, planning our life. It's that, and then when I really introduced him to Ruby, it's, that's when he started seeing the connections. That's when he started seeing, well, hey, I didn't even know that Bumbleby was a thing, like an actual ship. And this was before I really got heavy into Twitter. Which I'm still not as heavily into Twitter anymore. I'm trying to keep posts and just stay away from things, but I didn't know that actually had a ship. I had a friend actually in the UK that had really asked me about it, and I just randomly picked these two because I saw the connection right away, and I'm just thinking, okay, I like that. And then when I saw it had a ship name, of course, at first I kept spelling it wrong because I didn't realize there was a correct spelling for it. But then I showed him because of the other pairings, like Korasami, Fang and Lightning, and he goes, okay, so I turned him into this, and then that's when he started seeing all the connections at that point, and
it was like a scary coincidence, like
wow. When we really dug into it and you really see further. I mean, even now we're with new things developing, the comics, everything, the show, we're seeing new connections, and you think back, okay, that's really scary to see how similar that is. And I'm sure we're still going to see more.
Yeah. So, I wished I was a little bit more involved than I was, but, there was only so much I could do from behind a computer screen. No, I didn't lose my arm or anything like that, but, like, what that whole situation kind of done was it kind of killed my naive way of thinking when it comes to, like, because before all this happened, I had never, like, all through high school and all that, I had never been involved with a friend or anything like that was going through something like this, so I just never really thought of it. Yeah, I saw it in movies and stuff, but, you start to build that wall around you, like, oh, this only happens in movies. Like, with the state of the world right now.
That, or somebody that also has spent most of their life moving from place to place to place, and never having somewhere where you felt like home.
Yeah, I had never experienced that either.
Whereas I was on the other end of that. Once I started being able, having a job that I could afford to come and visit often, he didn't understand. It's always hard to leave somebody when
because there was still stuff that even after she got back home and was away from that she still hadn't told me. So I was still in the dark about certain things. But one thing that I always will grasp at with Blake and Yang compared to us is that Yang is pretty much repairing what Adam did. And yeah, she was with someone else before me between all this.
Which was also turned in to be abusive as well.
Yeah. I've pretty much tried my best to repair all that was done.
And it's not, there's still going to be things there until the day I die. There is going to. That's when you have something that damaging over time, and then you have somebody else who you think's fixing things and then turns out to be, bad as well. I deal with it. Yeah, I've had people tell me, oh, it's been this long, get over it. You can't. And for somebody who actually majors in psychology, understood, like, at first, yeah, he'd let anger speak if he was mad about something when he was in the dark. But then he'd stop and think, wait a minute. Go back through, think of the response that triggered this. Yeah, you'd know better terms than me, but he knows when I'm just going through something, even now, like,
trauma has no end date. Some people get over it faster than others. Some of them it follows forever. I do hope there is a day where it doesn't haunt you anymore. But sometimes I think if we did talk about it more, maybe it would help a little bit.
It's just, as you guys saw, this isn't easy, even if it's just us talking. It's but you find ways to go up from it. But there's even times now, like, everyone's like, well, it's been this many years. Well,
it's not living in the past.
No,
sure.
It's not.
Living in the past and still suffering from trauma of something traumatic that happened to you. It's two different things.
It's like, I'll have moments here, even now, where my depression will just get to me, my anxiety will go through the roof, my panic attacks set in, and things will come back and be like, okay, well, no, you aren't good enough. You can't do that. Why are you even trying? It happens. It's going to keep happening. Yeah, but it's lessened when, that, and it goes the same thing with the cosplay community. you'll have people say, well, you shouldn't do that. Okay, no, oh, well, your cosplays are amazing. Or you'll find yourself, when you're in a down moment, comparing yourself to somebody else. Yes, it's very bad to do. Everybody does it. I mean, I'll look at someone else like, oh, well, no wonder I'm not getting, any positive attention because I don't look like that. Well, there's moments I still struggle with that as Blake, as Lightning, as Sailor Moon, anybody that I cosplay. It's like, it reflects back to all of that. And yeah, again, you shouldn't think like that, but when your mind triggers that, when you're in a low point, you kind of can't help it. But then you'll get somebody to turn around and say a comment back and to bring you back up. It's a battle. It's a mental battle that you really can't do anything about, but just keep going. Keep moving forward.
Like, there are times where I'll grab at her, just kidding around, like, hey, what you doing, and just aggravating her, and she'll legit jerk away from me.
And it's not that I mean to. It's an involuntary thing at this point, like a mentally involuntary thing where your body has already programmed itself. Okay, don't back away from that. Don't do that.
Which, when she does that, I try to dispel it and combat it with humor. Be like, okay, don't need to be so twitchy.
And it usually works unless I'm having a full panic attack, which he approaches differently, which cons,
doesn't really happen that much often.
Not anymore. At cons, it has now and then, not for a long time, though. Now that we've kind of settled into our family, our little cosplay family, things have been a bit better. But there's been some cons where, and it could be something different, like something not even related. Like, I had a meltdown about a costume once, but it was because it was falling apart. It wasn't because of a competition. Mm-hmm. This costume meant a lot to me, and because it was getting rushed, because of other said person I'm not naming, it caused me to have a meltdown and panic because I was just thinking, how people are going to look at me terribly. This isn't going the way I wanted to. This costume means a lot to me regardless of the state it's in. Even if I had things missing. I mean, it's gotten better, but you see, even Yang, like, before they fought Adam, the panic flashbacks, that's where my side of Yang comes at. Like, when she's in the kitchen and something breaks and she panics and backs up against the counter, that would be my half of Yang that, would be there. And that's why, I cosplay both, but because they both mean something, but that also furthers our meaning to the ship. I would do that. There's still times, if you catch me off guard in a low point and something happens, I will panic and back up. It's nothing that anyone really truly meant to do. It's an instinct that my body has, my mind and everything has programmed to, okay, back away. Just, yeah. I will say, having Luna, though, ever since, I lost my first husky, which I hope she's happy where she is, but having Luna has actually helped a lot, and she still does. I mean, that's why you'll probably start seeing her a lot more, hopefully, once it gets warmer. But they really do say, I'm not pushing, also, this is a whole other topic, but emotional support animals. I'm never going to title her that, but there's some people that, like, they abuse that, but
in a lot of ways, all pets are emotional supports.
Yes, they are, and a lot of people take for granted that, it's just an animal. No, she is family. That is my furry daughter. She brings happiness to me.
Because everyone in your life could abandon you. Your pet never will, unless you do treat it badly.
And even then, the people that leave poor animals to shelters, they don't understand why. Mm-hmm. Just like, I'll be upset, I'll be outside, she reacts to me regardless if I've not even seen her all day. She reacts to me, and she knows if I don't feel good. She knows if I'm sad. They just know. It's just how they're made. I don't know how else to explain that, but she's definitely a huge help in this too. Yeah, it's still an ongoing thing.
Yeah. And it's just like, there were times I'd get so angry just because I didn't know what was going on. And I don't remember if I ever snapped at you or anything because of it, but like,
if you did, you'd turn around and be like,
yeah.
I didn't mean that.
But Yang did the same thing. She was mad at Blake, but that's mostly because she still didn't understand the full story. Then once the whole fight with Adam and all that happened, she finally fully understood what was going on. And I mean, that's exactly what happened with us. No, I never physically met this guy.
Wouldn't want to.
No, but...
in the South, you take care of things differently. So I've been told by many people.
That is why I get so angry, legit angry, when I see people say Bumbleby is just SJW pandering and the dog is barking.
Sorry.
It's why I get so angry at people belittling this ship to just lesbian fetishism. It's also why I'm still really angry that people who don't know me, don't know her, don't know a thing about us because they never took the time to do that, make judgments on me because of my age, because of my sexuality, and how much I support Bumbleby. I'm sorry, but I see every day in the Ruby fandom people saying, love who you love, you know, support this, support that. But then they turn around and slam me for my age and my sexuality just because I'm straight. There's a lot of hypocrisy in the Ruby fandom. But just people relegating it to me just being a 32-year-old who's creepy because he loves Bumbleby so much.
When there's a real point of
when there's
where
a
it
real,
came from.
When there's a real life, personal reason. And you downplay it when you don't even know me.
And this, I know there's a lot of bigger YouTubers that have actually stated this kind of topic. Not with Blake and Yang, but with, you know, the judgment. You know, we're being out in the public eye pretty much. Yeah, we knew, and we still know, we're going to receive hate either way. But there's been other YouTubers. I think Boogie has said it. Mark has said it. There's a couple others I know that have said it. You know, you don't know the person that's behind this camera. You don't really know them. I mean, so, yeah, there's people that are going to judge anyways. There's people that are going to gossip. I mean...
And I'm sorry, the people who call me an asshole and say I'm too abrasive or too confrontational, I'm not changing to make you happy.
That's everyone in the South.
Yeah, like
everybody I've met, they're the sweetest people, but...
And calling me a bully and all this because I belittled someone and they just turned out to be a minor and all that, like...
We don't go into everyone's profile and check out ages either.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
like,
I mean,
the thing
I know
is,
I stay out of things more so, but... I mean, yeah, things are said. Yeah, he's admitted he has said things he probably shouldn't have said, but then he goes around, turns around, and he says, you know, I went a little far with this, or he delete it, or, you know, but there's people that'll bring stuff back, and it's like... Okay, that happened a long time ago.
I think everyone has said stuff on Twitter that they said in the moment.
Yeah, it happens
to
everybody.
Then people will just go back and screenshot it and throw it up randomly. Like, it's just...
And no, this isn't a call out to anyone who has said or is still, for some reason, saying things without a real tag in it. This is just... This video needed to happen because it needed to happen, but seeing a lot of stuff that's been said or indirectly thrown at me, I got to the point, I need to voice the reason why. I need to get this out, you know, more of an awareness, you know, just for anyone else that does relate to Blake, that relates to anybody that suffered abuse, you know, you can move up from that, even if it doesn't seem like you can right now. This is more also an awareness to it. Yeah, there's probably, I'm going to post it as there's trigger warnings. I mean, it's a very tough subject. So whenever I see someone would post stuff about Adam or Blake, or they'd throw Adam as this great person, you know, and throw it, like, even at me. Like, there was posts even thrown at me with stuff like that. Like, oh, he wasn't abusive, Blake was. No, I'm going to sit there and defend that. And, you know, when
no matter what your age is.
When you bring anything...
That's not a good way of thinking.
No, when you bring anything like that into it, and then you relate real life to it, and you say, oh, this is pretty much okay. No, it's not. For someone who's suffered so much and is still living to this day with thoughts that will creep into the mind.
And it's
hard. And like I said, last things I've said on that is just, look, we're not calling anybody out. We're not, you know, I'm not going to turn around. Yeah, I'm not going to turn around and unfollow everybody. Or if, you know, you've blocked him, I'm not going to turn around and just completely block you for just because you were in part of this, or you associated with somebody else. I'm not going to turn around and block you. But for the people that have turned around and do that to me, it just makes me really sad. Like, the number's not everything, yeah, I get it. And the people that still support, even if you don't follow me and you still support and share my stuff, that still means a lot to me. It really does. I mean, I don't want to be this Twitter famous person. I just want to be liked. I mean, like, make friends. That's what I want with this.
But you also don't want to censor your opinion just to make people happy.
And that's why also with this video, and that's why most people didn't understand when we typed out why this shit means so much to us, is I would have had to censor things online. This, clearly you saw I didn't censor anything. Like, I didn't go into detail about what happened, but it's just a hard topic, and I want people to understand that, and anyone that feels the same, anyone that has been abused, is being abused, anyone that has any relation to this, to anything, even if you're not a Ruby fan, like, or not a big fan, or you just want to talk, I mean, my DMs are open. No, don't everyone flock, please. But if someone needs to talk with somebody who has dealt with this stuff, I'm free to talk to anybody. You know, I also struggled a lot, like, also, going back a little bit, you know, before we make this too long, Blake being, you know, pretty much, you know, confirmed bi. Okay, it took me a very, very long time to come out as that. It took me almost, you know, how long? And I finally told my parents, which apparently I don't think... Way
better than you thought it would.
Yes, he just looks over and I'm crying. Like, I told Dad, and...
Because I had my headset on. I was like, what's wrong?
And he goes, I didn't think you were going to do it right away. It's been eating away at me, and I finally did. Mom still loves me either way. She said, nothing's going to matter, you know, you just...
Even though your dad was like, I'd wait on your mom.
Yeah, but, and I waited a couple days to get myself together, but when I told Dad just, you know, he kind of started suspecting things. But he goes, hey, you just love everybody.
Her dad really is awesome.
He is, and I miss him to death. Like,
he lives in Texas.
But, I mean, like I said, but my ex was, you know, the second abusive one. He had friends that were gay. He had friends that didn't know what they were. He was friends with them, but then he'd turn around and say things like homophobic things, like, and I'm just to the point, yeah, it probably wasn't the best way to do it, but a long time ago at that point, we weren't even really together anymore, and he had said a really mean comment, and I think it was a comment to a very close best friend of mine that was about her and somebody else that actually lived behind us at the time, and I, in anger, screamed at him, and it came out that I was bi. And the way he looked at me in disgust at first was like, and then a week later he claims, oh, I'm sorry, you know, I overreacted, you know, I can't really say that, you know, it's bad, and I'm just, you know, it was, yeah. Well, he lost a lot of friends at that point, too. But the fact that it took me so long to come out and he didn't understand, no one understood why. I mean, my first person I ever told was one of my best friends, Julia.
Which she's bisexual as well.
Yeah. Well, she kind of gave me that confidence that, hey, don't care what anyone else says. I don't even know how how it came up. The conversation started as my ex was cheating on me, and it led to there in my car, and it was actually a cosplay weekend. We were going thrifting. I had a huge bruise on my leg. Maybe that'll be another video.
Not from him.
No, it was
something of her own doing.
We went to a female empowerment thing. It was a pole dancing thing.
We'll get to that another time.
But
Just
yeah, it's not what you think. It was actually the art form.
That was
of
a
it.
big bruise, though. It was like the size of a steak.
Well,
we
still went shopping after that, so that's another adventure. Maybe me and her will actually talk about that one day. But
what was my reaction?
I knew it. He goes, I knew it. But I mean, he was at first. He goes, you didn't tell me first, but he kind of understood why. It kind of just came out. I was
mostly just messing with you.
Yeah,
at that point.
It kind of just came out, to Julia, and she kind of encouraged me to keep going, and it evolved from there, built up, and there's probably still some people to this day that I won't tell just because
they know now.
Yeah, well,
no, there's certain people in my family and all that we make sure don't.
Just because of other reasons. But,
this is the South, after all.
Yeah, but yeah, that's anyone that ever needed to talk about anything with that, like anything with being abused or need help, you can talk to me. You can talk to either of us, really. Though he'll probably direct you my way since I've actually dealt with it, but.
If I ever post anything that upsets you or pisses you off, DM me. So that's why, starting now, I'm pretty much going to stop interacting with the RWBY fandom as a whole. There's still some good people in it, but I'm just going to start talking about my other interests, like video games, wrestling, and stuff like that, just because we're still going to do reactions. We're still going to do analysis. And
we're still going to do some related videos.
Yeah, because
we
do
cosplay videos too.
Because we still do have another Bumbleby video to do, and plus I'm sure we'll do one once they kiss or whatever happens in Volume 8. So yeah, just pretty much, I'm still going to post Bumbleby stuff. Still going to post RWBY related stuff. Still going to post RWBY art that gets posted and news that gets posted, but other than actually, unless I definitely trust them, I'm done.
We're just gonna take a step back. If things start blowing over, and eventually people follow back again or whatever, fine. I'm not gonna turn around and say, well, hey, you unfollowed me for this. Why should I accept you back? At this point, I'm just too old for this shit. And I know someone else who said that, with actually cosplay related, Kamui. She's just, instead of staying up all night, no sleep, then going to a con, yeah, been there, done that. Well, she goes, I'm just too old for this shit. Yeah, exactly. I'm too old for this. I've actually stopped doing most of that, minus one night finishing buttons and stuff. But the thing is that paid off. I won an award. But yeah, this goes for everything. Like I said, we're not leaving the fandom. I'm sorry, no one's gonna push me out of a fandom that I've grown deeply into and love and has great meaning to me. And that actually goes for the Sailor Moon one too. That's a whole nother side I felt being pushed out of as well. I'm not going to name anybody for that one either. I'm not going to name anybody. I'm not going to call anybody out. I don't want anybody else to have anything come at them. I'm not one for confrontation. I absolutely hate confrontation. If I can avoid it, I try to. But yeah, there was a few times we got a little off topic, but this video was entirely about what the ship really means to us, aside from
it's more than just a same-sex relationship.
Yeah, this isn't just, that's just creepy how much you ship that. No, this has great meaning. It really does. I mean,
and really stop trying to age gate Ruby. It's not a good look for any of you.
We were all once minors.
Yeah.
We just, that...
And most of you, we've probably been watching longer.
This also goes with, even back... I've had people attack me through the Harry Potter fandom, too. Okay, and that's all younger people, and I'm sorry. We were young once. We grew up with that fandom.
Mm-hmm.
We're the same age. They all grew up in the books. We grew up with them. We're still growing. We're not gonna stop aging.
Yeah, I mean...
It's...
I don't know why people have got this common thought that once you get a certain age, you can't still love the stuff that you've watched, ever since it's been around.
Or I'll get comments here on all the plushies I buy. Well... I don't care how old I am going to buy a plushie.
Yeah,
or two, or three.
It's just sad that ever since I've been on Twitter, I've tried my best to respect people for their sexuality, and then you have people turn around blasting me because I'm straight.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never said anything to anyone about being gay, about being lesbian, about being trans. And it just, bisexual, ace, all that stuff, and
most of our friends are all fall into that.
Yeah,
or they support it.
And I get shit because I'm way more upfront about how I think, and I give my opinion bluntly. So people will use anything they can to start a witch hunt on me. Call me an asshole. I mean, I'm sorry. You're not the only one that's ever called me an asshole. But then turn around and say, oh, he's 32 and he's straight. When you just posted not long ago that people should stop hating on the LGBT community, but you're flipping it around and hating on me because I'm straight. I'm sorry. Yeah, the straights have never went through what pretty much all of you have, but that still
doesn't mean they can't be sympathetic and support you regardless of what you went through.
Yeah, so you're still pretty much downing me for my sexuality, and it's not a good thing.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm sure we've repeated some things here and there. Sorry, it's hard to keep track when you keep having interruptions, but. We just wanted to share this personal video with everybody. This originally was just going to be a Patreon video first, but we just want to open it up to everybody. Tell everybody. Give you a little bit about us. A little bit about, again, why this shit means so much to us than just fictional characters and just a ship. Just the popular thing. No, this goes back before it blew up.
This stuff even happened before Ruby.
I hope you can't hear that.
This stuff happened even before Ruby existed. So, I mean...
Yeah. So, it's...
You need to get royalties from Miles and Carrie. I'm just kidding.
No. But anyways, yeah, we just wanted to give you a little insight to us. And that's also what our story times are usually about. Yeah, we've been a little behind on that too. But, I mean, I've started another job. The world has gone insane.
Yeah, you'd think we would have video up after video up with all this free time we've got, but
I've got the time. I'm catching up on commissions, though. Right now, getting stuff in the mail has been a challenge. Shipping stuff out has been a challenge because of everything slowed down. Which, if any of my commissions are watching, I'm sorry. I've updated all of you, and it will get to you. Just taking some time.
Also, to the people who we've still not gotten the giveaway winners their stuff yet. Just be patient.
Coming. Yeah, we don't want, because of everything happening. Also, we don't want this stuff getting lost.
Plus, I think some of the winners were international.
Yeah,
and I mean that's probably not happening right now.
We don't want it going anywhere, to the shipment facilities and staying there. We want it to get to you. So
plus, we've both been laid off as of right now because of what's going on. So money's kind of tight. So
but we haven't forgotten. We promise.
Yeah, they're actually laying right there. So we see them every day.
They're ready to go, and it's just because of this. We got ready to ship them, and then everything in the world exploded. So
Yep.
we just
we were actually literally about to send them right before this all like really
and I
happened
said,
in the U.S.
let's hold off because I don't want it getting lost.
Yep.
We can't afford for that to happen because it'd be really bad.
Yeah, especially that Blake figure, because that Blake figure, that's the only one we had, and all the GameStops are closed, so...
But, yeah.
A little over an hour. Well, I think that's all you can really stand.
Yeah, I don't think I can do any more right now. Well, like, I don't know if we'll do another video like this, per se, but, you know... We'll do some more personal ones, and that's gonna be our story time. The next one we'll probably will be Sailor Moon, because that one needs to be done. That one's a great meeting between the two of us too.
I kind of
more so started with me.
I kind of want to do like a spooky podcast like deal. I mean, we can't do a podcast because of our internet, but like, I don't know, just I'm listening to all these channels that do all these spooky stories, and I was like, that would just be fun.
We're working on also, in addition to this, a little bit of announcements, I'm trying to work on some cosplay videos and stuff. That's been slow going as, again, supplies. Yep. Getting supplies to me.
Especially, like, there's word that Joann's and Hobby Lobby are probably going to shut down at some point here soon.
Joann's first, Hobby Lobby maybe next. But... So we're working with whatever we have.
The only other choice would be Walmart.
And they don't carry some of the stuff that I need. And even online, Amazon, there's some things that won't be shipped for weeks. So I'm going to keep trying with what I have. I did manage to get some stuff yesterday. I'm going to try to do some stuff. We are still, again, money's tight right now. We are still working to get a capture card.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna have it ready by Resident Evil 3. So,
and I mean, I actually was considering playing maybe playthroughs of my Dragon Age 2 run, Akami. Hell, let's go Eevee. But I
think I'm definitely gonna have to get a better PC before we can do that. Stimulus.
But yeah, we've got some plans going. We'll try to do some maybe just random videos. Go to the park with Luna. Watch Luna act like a complete idiot.
Plus, I mean, Let's Plays are always going to be something I'm going to post. Like, I don't know if anyone of you saw on Twitter, but I'm going to start doing them one every other day, because I feel like doing daily, I'm not giving the video time to really be viewed. So, yeah, it's probably not going to be every day anymore. Like, the longest I'll go before I put up another Let's Play maybe be like 3 days. That's just so the videos can get out there more. That's really the audience I'm really wanting to target right now, is the Let's Play audience. Once
another video that I've been thinking of that I'm probably gonna do for you guys. Hand me those, Cora, Sami. We can't go to a store right now to get these, but I've done these and I've been debating on actually doing videos to show custom pops. I made him book for Cora and Asami from these blank female pop figures.
Even though now they're making official
Now they're
Cora
making them,
ones.
Yes.
Not book 4.
Not book 4 yet. But if I can get my hands on some blank ones, I may do some I actually will probably start with Mass Effect, actually, and Final Fantasy, maybe another one. Probably Dragon Age. Those are main 3 that I'll probably do right now. Those will be videos. They won't exactly be tutorials, but they'll just be videos, kind of like my painting video. You'll see a speed build of how I do them. I'll probably do different materials to make things easier. Because, we kind of got gypped on not having any, like, Liara. Anything.
Yeah.
And the figure I want's like $500.
Yeah.
But
I think this video's went long enough. We're kind of rambling now.
Yeah, I know. But the end of this is more of a just announcement of things.
Well, yeah, because it's been a while since we've done a video like this.
And hopefully, while also this time off, maybe we can get some Mass Effect weapons going, which he'll
props.
Yes, props. We'll try to get some of those going. Maybe I could do some blueprints on it. which those videos, as far as like builds, he'll actually probably be helping me on the sewing and everything, and the detail painting. That's all me.
And plus, we've still got to put up the vlogs from
The
Colossal
con
Con.
vlog. No,
not Ohio Con.
Colossal Con is coming.
Yeah, I've got Colossal Con in my head.
But yeah, there's a lot of video I'm still going through, so. But yeah.
If you guys are interested in us covering like scary stories and scary topics, like
send us videos, send us links.
Or just like if you want to see it, say yeah, that'd be great. Like
yeah, just comment anything.
Because I'm a psychology major, I could talk a lot about serial killers and all that. And plus, our house is haunted, so we've got a few ghost stories of our own. So.
Well, quite a few actually. So
yeah.
we
might do a creepy
do some
podcast style
ghost stories that we've experienced so far.
Because the whole point of this channel was, yeah, we want to do Ruby reactions, but it was never meant to be just solely
that. It's going to be a
Ruby.
lot of things.
Yeah. So yeah, Let's Plays are going to continue. She's got stuff planned, as she said. We're toying with some new ideas since we've got all this free time. But yeah, like, sorry for the ranting. It's just when you're kind of tired of people's BS, you kind of want to call them out on it. But yeah, unless you got anything else to say.
No,
I know this video's been hard on you.
Yeah, that's about as much as I can handle at the moment.
You almost made me cry.
I knew it was gonna happen. Like, it just...
I thought you were actually going to keep it together, to tell you the truth.
I was prepared enough, and then I couldn't. Like, I don't know how else
Next
to say
video
this.
we do together will hopefully be a little more lighthearted. So yeah.
I shouldn't cry in the Sailor Moon one, because that's mostly just positive.
Well, I'm just talking about like any video we do together. Again, it's kind of sad that the circumstances fell right when we were planning on doing this video. But I don't think I've got anything else to say.
No, just,
be considerate of people and stop. If you see someone down, like, crap talking somebody, do a little research before you just side with them and decide, oh, blocked.
Just ignore or move on.
Yep. Because everybody in the Ruby fandom says, be kind, be nice to each other and all that. Well.
Yeah. Anyways, but, hope you guys stuck around to the end.
Yeah. Well, hope you enjoyed the video if you stayed this long. Just remember to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, because we do have a lot of plans going on. We just got to get them jump started. Links to everything will be in the description. Patreon, Square Store, Etsy store. If you're into Jess's cosplay stuff, I think it's called a Ko-fi.
Oh yeah, that's our cosplay end of things. So if you just wanted to support just the cosplay, there's that.
Yeah.
Which I'll be posting on there. And Patreon's been a bit slow. I've also had a lot of issues with Patreon lately.
About getting payments.
About payments, about getting posting, so things are slow on there. I know I've prints to send out to our patrons that are there, which thank you. We appreciate any patrons we have.
Also, if you don't like Patreon or anything like that, and you guys just want to support us, we probably could set up a PayPal or something.
Well, I do have one.
Yeah.
If anyone's interested, we do have a PayPal. No, we're not.
There's a lot of people that don't like Patreon.
We're not.
Well, that's a car going down the road. Someone's having a party.
We're not asking for money. We're just saying that
if
we know that there's
to.
people that do want to support us and don't want to deal with Patreon and things like that. We have ways of doing that. So just reach out to us.
You just gotta contact us.
Yeah, just contact us, reach out to us. That's it.
Well, that's all I can think of to talk about.
We've hit everything.
Yeah.
Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell.
Yep, check the description for all the links, and we will see you guys in the next video. Bye.
Bye.